We've got Ben Powney lining up on pole position. It's Paul Butcher alongside him in the number 42 car, long-time racer in the championship. He won the Scrutineer's Best Prepared Car Award for 2019. Probably the most recognised livery in F1000. Paul, I think, a fan of the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy as well, looking at the number that is run on the car for all of these years. Second row then, we've got the 4 car of Dan Gore. That's the black car run by Mattel Race Cars, but that's all we've got time for because the red lights go on and away they go. And it's a good start there from Ben Powney from pole position. They all managed to get away, I think. No issues with anyone stalling on the line. And it's 3 of them side by side, but Lee Morgan's got away quite well. I don't think he was in the lead, though. I think there was someone ahead of him. We'll try and pick that up. It was Paul Butcher, number 42, ahead of Lee Morgan then as they head up towards Wilson for the first time. Morgan is going to get Butcher under braking for Wilson, is he? That Ben Powney takes a very deep line into the corner and they run 3 wide on the exit, and Powney's gone around the outside of all of them. We saw him practice that on the green flag lap, and sure enough, it's worked. He's got into the lead, Josh.
He may have not made the best of starts, but he made the best run through Wilson. Absolutely brilliant. That was from Ben Powney. Of course, hasn't done much single-seater racing, but he leads away ahead of Lee Morgan. He came through from the 3rd row of the grid, so it was a really good start from him. Such an experienced driver in these cars. Then it's Dan Gore. So Paul Butcher, who did make a good start, so already dropped to 4th. Around the outside of him looks to come Rob Wellham, and he goes through despite being out over the curbs. I see Matthew Manette, who usually races against these competitors. He's saying that Rob Wellham and Ben Powney will be quick in the wet, and they're proving it, aren't they, coming through the order, both using those outside lines, and they're finding the grip. Now Wellham sees actually back Powney getting away, and there's one off the road.
Was that Clues?
May have been,
I think it was Dan Clues, the championship leader. Looked like his car off the circuit. We'll get confirmation of that towards the end of the lap.
Of course, he didn't qualify very well in these type of conditions yesterday, did he? Quite a bit of spray, actually, isn't there, as they make their way down the back straight. There's something flapping underneath Ben Powney's car, is there?
That's something to keep an eye on, certainly. Into Brundle they go for the first time. Morgan and Gore going side by side for second position. It's Gore in the black Mattel car. It's going to have the inside line for Nelson, though, but Morgan kept it in around the outside. He's got Rob Wellham trying to come through on the inside now as well as they head into the bomb hole. It's a really frenetic first lap of racing. It's letting, though, our race leader just pull away a bit, isn't it, from the next 3 or 4 of them that are really scrapping. It's Morgan that's settled into second place for the moment, and then 3rd Dan Gore, 4th Rob Wellham, but it's a good old lead this for the man out front, Ben Powney, the pole position man.
Yes, I think this is why Rob Wellham knows he needs to get on with it, because if he's going to close Powney in, although of course he doesn't score points, but I'm sure an overall victory is what all these drivers will be looking for. It's an invitational car for Ben Powney, and into Ritchie's they go. Wellham looks to the inside of Gore. He can't do that. Now, of course, everybody would have seen, wouldn't they, Ben Powney using that wide line effectively on that first lap. So I wonder if some others are going to try that on the second lap of this 15-minute race. Dan Gore locks up. He runs out wide, but that may not be a bad thing, and it's not, is it? He can get the accelerator on and be able to stay ahead of Rob Wellham. Behind, Paul Butcher's held on to 5th, Elliot Mitchell 6th, Matt Booth is 7th, and after that off, Dan Clues is down to 8th.
Yeah, so here they come through Palmer, then Wellham carrying good speed through the left-hand zero. Should get a run here on Dan Gore as they go down towards the left-hand hairpin at Agostini. So it's the number 5, the silver and orange and grey car. Well, he got a good run, and he's trying to do what he did on the previous lap and try and go around the outside of Dan Gore. We did this on Paul Butcher a lap ago, but it's not worked this time. So Dan Gore stays in 3rd position. Rob Wellham, yesterday's winner, in 4th spot. All the time, Lee Morgan getting a little bit further away from both of these, and no doubt Ben Powney pulling away from Lee Morgan as well.
Big slide on the exit of Hamilton for Rob Wellham, which just dropped him away a little bit from Dan Gore, but he's able to come back after him again. Of course, it was Gore that was second quickest to Wellham in that damp qualifying yesterday, so he is proving to be a much tougher rival to overtake than what Paul Butcher was. Of course, Butcher led early on. He's dropped down to 5th.
Getting a 10-second penalty board being prepared. That's going to be shown to Eddie Falkingham. No doubt that will be for a jumped start, out of position. So Eddie Falkingham running in 12th place, going to be penalised. Meanwhile, Rob Wellham has got through into 3rd place, ahead now of Gore. He's done that at Brundle, and now he has to set about the pursuit of Lee Morgan. It's not a very long pursuit. He's only maybe 6 car lengths ahead, but he's got a bit of work to do. And Ben Powney has just extended his lead a little bit, not a huge amount, I don't think, this lap.
And Rob Wellham's looking down the inside here at Coram Curve. Such a quick corner that just keeps going on and on and on. Who's got the grip? It's really wet through there as well. I'm sure that's where there's more spray than anywhere else through Coram. Lee Morgan's been able to hang on. Wellham's on that outside line. Can he get the power down? But actually through there, the inside line seems to prove more grip. There's that penalty board that Ian mentioned. There's Ben Powney, the race leader, after 2 laps. 2 minutes 20 was his first flyer. So that is, half a minute off of dry pace in the race yesterday. But the fastest lap of all has gone to Rob Wellham, a 2:19.76. That's half a second quicker than the leader, despite being stuck behind Dan Gore for some of it. Now he's got to try and make his way past Lee Morgan. We can see now everybody's using that much wider line, which does invite others to look down the inside, but generally that is unsuccessful.
So we've got Powney leading. His gap reduced then on the second lap, actually by a few hundredths of a second. Lee Morgan was 900ths faster, and of course Wellham faster than him. Wellham again gets a good run through Palmer, but I said this on the previous lap and he wasn't able to make a move at Agostini. Again, he's going to the outside of Lee Morgan, goes a bit earlier this time, got his car all the way in front. Now he's trying to go and do almost the Ben Powney equivalent line here, and it has worked, and he's got ahead of Lee Morgan. That is really nicely done from Rob Wellham, the driver from Suffolk. No doubt he'll have some support here this weekend, as well as those watching him on the live stream. And Lee Morgan now spins out of third position. Really, there was no pressure on him there because Dan Gore not that close to him in fourth place. But Lee Morgan there has dropped several places. He's down to at least sixth, I think, because Matt Booth has gone through.
He has. Paul Butcher lost more places on that latest lap, hasn't he? He's down to 8th. So Elliot Mitchell, Matthew Booth and Dan Clues all got ahead of him. But this is the chase for the lead. Ben Powney against Rob Wellham. As we mentioned, Powney Invitational cast. So Wellham is leading the championship points runners. But I think he's going to want to take an overall victory here. He's not worried about the points so much. He's already caught Powney. That was a 2-second gap. He really is exceptional in the wet conditions, isn't he, Rob Wellham?
Yeah, absolutely. And he has missed, as we've said, most of the season. Ben Powney's done quite a lot of racing, but not in F1000. He's done racing in the Mazda 7s. We've seen him in low cost as well this year. But not as yet in the F1000s before today, whereas it's Rob's first race meeting, or first races of the season. He was at Silverstone. Does he get a good run down the Senna Straight? This is to start lap number 4 of the race. We have had almost half of the times allocation, 15-minute race. We're almost up to 7.5 minutes now. Powney staying ahead, but Wellham trying to get alongside him and goes around the outside into Rich's corner. Brilliant move from Rob Wellham to take the lead of the Swallow Hill Homes F1000 race.
2 minutes 16.16 from Wellham. That's 2 seconds faster than anybody else. The next quickest driver on circuit is Elliot Mitchell. So watch out for car number 11. He was quick in the dry yesterday. He's proving to be pretty decent in the wet as well. And he's a couple of seconds behind Dan Gore. Dan Gore, though, is 4 seconds behind Ben Powney, who's there in second, who's already fallen some way behind the leader, Rob Wellham, who he's almost in a different class, isn't he, to everybody else from his the speed that he is showing.
And you can see the lines that the driver's taking. They're very much the wet lines, aren't they? Trying to find some grip where there is some, not on the usual racing line, very much on the outside of the corners. We've seen that in particular from Wellham, but there Elliot Mitchell as well, going very deep into Agostini. Fourth place, of course. He was third yesterday. I think that was his second podium of the... That was his first podium of the season, wasn't it? I beg your pardon. Yesterday, he had a fourth but a fifth as well this year, but he's going really strongly, actually, Elliot Mitchell, this season.
He certainly is, and as I say, he's going after Dan Gore in this battle for what is fourth position. Elliot Mitchell 7th in the championship, but he's looking to gain some more positions during the course of the day in it. There's the championship leader, Dan Clues. He's in 7th. He's behind Matthew Booth, who's fallen back behind Lee Morgan, because we saw Lee Morgan recover behind Booth, didn't we? There is Booth then, P6. Did not see Lee Morgan in front of him, though, which is concerning. Is
that Morgan in the background, I think? We just saw a glimpse of Morgan in the background. It looks like he's got car problems.
Or has he had another spin?
Or another spin, potentially, yeah. But changed the gearbox, or adjusted the gearbox overnight. 6 minutes of the race left to go. So Dan Clues really just trying to pick up points in this race now, I suggest.
Now, is it the fastest lap from this race that set the grid for the later one?
Well, now you're asking.
Perhaps we can have a message from Sarah to confirm that. But if that is the case, Dan Clues won't start very far up the grid later on either, not unless he starts to get a bit of a move on. Here's Dan Gore. He is passing the other of those...
Perpetual Motorsport cars.
That's it. One of those cars. That's Andrew Wills, isn't it? 67. And Elliot Mitchell goes past Dan Gore. So that's third. Looking for his second podium is Elliot Mitchell. And that's out of the championship runners. That's probably as far as it's going to get, isn't it? 5 seconds behind Rob Wellham. But could he get second in the race? He's about 3.5 seconds behind Ben Powney.
Could do. Not impossible. So through Palmer they go on lap number 5 of the race. So that's Elliot Mitchell now third, number 11. Dan Gore fourth, number 4. Behind 5 the leader, Rob Wellham, 37 in second, Ben Powney. A bit further back, Matthew Booth, number 1 is in 5th. 2, Dan Clues 6th, and Paul Butcher, Buddy Stars, Eddie Falkingham, and now Nikita Abramov rounding out the top 10 with Lee Morgan. Looks like he's dropping out of the race.
Yeah, so that was more than a spin this time. So not a good race for that team, has it been? So here's Gore. He's now 4th, isn't he? And Elliot Mitchell's gone away from him really quickly. How far is he ahead of the rest? Quite a bit. He's 8 seconds ahead of Matthew Booth. And there's Peter Legge. He's had a spin in what may be his last race weekend in this car, isn't it? That car's up for sale. If you'd like to get involved in F1000, that might be a good place to investigate. Confirmation
is the fastest lap from this race that sets the grid for race 2. So as things stand, that's going to put Rob Wellham on pole. Who'd be second? Elliot Mitchell second at this point, wouldn't it?
Indeed, with like Clues and Booth and Morgan much further back, which could be interesting. Who knows what the weather's going to do later? There's no point looking at the weather forecast because it doesn't seem to actually create reality, does it, this weekend?
And it's the last race of the day as well, so it's quite a long time away as well. So before we get more racing from the F1000, so Clues there, pushing on. Running in 6th position at the moment, just behind Matthew Booth in the number 1 car, last year's champion. Clues runner-up to Booth in the championship last year, but has had a really good season this year. That's the Jack Tomlin car there in the background, isn't it, that stopped on the green flag lap.
And then on the inside is where Peter Legge's car is, who spun recently. Across the line's gone Rob Wellham, 5 seconds clear of Ben Powney, who is being caught by Elliot Mitchell. The gap there is under 3 seconds now.
Yeah, and it's 1.2 seconds that Mitchell made on that lap.
And we got left 2 laps, haven't we? So we have a 7-lap race this time.
Yeah.
So perhaps Elliot Mitchell needs to bring that gap down at a bit more of a rapid rate. There he is. He's going to give it a go, isn't he, Elliot Mitchell? He's already pulled out 7 seconds to Dan Gore, who had a really slow lap, actually. So Gore is being caught by Matthew Booth for 4th. So whether that may be a change before the end, it's possible. Eddie Falkenham's had good pace. He's got that penalty for jumping the start, but he's in the 221s, which is quicker than Billy Stiles in front of him, and pretty much on what Paul Butcher has done. Yeah. He went really well at Silverstone, did Falkenham. He was right in the front group there, got a couple of 4th positions, which was really remarkable for a former Clio race, a totally different types of car.
Yeah, and a driver that's moved from one 750 Motor Club Championship into another in the shape of F1000. Ben Powney, another that's made that move as well.
Big slide there from Elliot Mitchell. He was pretty much still sliding as he got the car ready for the next corner. So that was out of Oggies into Williams. So he's not letting up, is he, in this chase towards Ben Powney. There's the leader, Rob Wellham, who is going away from these two. Wonder what that is flapping on the under tray of Ben Powney's car. It seems to have been like that for the whole race. It hasn't got any worse, importantly, so it's okay. It's safe, obviously. There's Gore. This lap, Booth not really catching any more, is he? So perhaps Gore had a bit of an issue. And Booth, in turn, looks like he's gapping Dan Clues a bit.
It does, but Clues, in turn, has got quite a healthy advantage over Paul Butcher. It was about 6 seconds at the start of the lap, so possibly with only a lap or so of this race to go, drivers realising that if they drive sensibly for the remainder of the race, they'll be able to bring the car home with and get the points positions that they're in now. Wellham's just gone across the line to start his final lap.
See Clues' car snaking out of Nelson for such a long time. Of course, these motorcycle engine cars, they've got a lot of torque, and therefore trying to put that power down on the road is really difficult. And you can clearly see that as Dan Clues accelerates out of the slower corners. 6 laps done then. Rob Wellham is still 5 seconds ahead of Ben Powley, continues to be caught by Elliot Mitchell. The gap's under 2 seconds now. So there is Mitchell. He continues then to chase the Sellers racing car. Elliot Mitchell is in the JFK run machine, and he's certainly closer than Powley, but will he get close enough to challenge before the lap's over?
Heading down towards Agostini for the final time then. He's not going to be close enough here. It's going to take him, well, you say that under braking for Agostini. Obviously he closes up. We'll see what it looks like by the time they get onto the sort of outfield section again, back onto the Bentley straight, but he's continuing to close his Elliot Mitchell on the Ben Powley car. So that's the fight for second, although Ben, as we say, not in a championship specification car this weekend, although he's possibly hoping to do the fairly minimal amount of work required to get it ready for championship specification for 2021.
Yeah, he's only got this car recently. He was telling me at the Mazda 7 meeting last month here that he'd got this car and he was hoping to have it out this weekend.
Oh, and off has gone Eddie Falkingham. So we were singing his praises, but he's had a bit of an off there, cutting some of the grass here. Meanwhile, Mitchell is almost with Ben Powley now, isn't he, for that second place? They've come along the Bentley straight, and then a bit further back, you've got Gore possibly being caught by Matthew Booth there.
Yes, the gap was 2 seconds at the beginning of the lap. Though with these long shots, it's harder to tell how close they actually are, and perhaps it's not quite as close as we thought. But soon, coming across the line will be Rob Wellham, won't it, to win his second race of the day. Yeah. And this is the battle of a second. Powley's still ahead, but out of Murray's comes the leader. Yeah, checkered flag is made ready, and Rob Wellham is going to take the checkered flag now to win the second race of the weekend for the Swallow Hill Homes F1000 Championship. So 2 from 2 so far. It is in second place, Ben Powley. In third place, number 11, Elliot Mitchell. So 5 and 37 the top two, then 11, Elliot Mitchell in third place. And quite a long gap then to our fourth place finisher in the end. Should be Dan Gore. A note for Elliot Mitchell, who was only 1/10 away from Rob Wellham's best lap of the race.
There's Dan Gore in fourth, Matthew Booth fifth, and Dan Clues gets the points for sixth position here. We'll work out what impact that has on the championship in a moment. Seventh across the line will go eventually Paul Butcher. That was him, and he was 34 seconds behind the winner in the end.
Billy Stiles next, and this will be equaling his best result in 8th position.
Yeah, teenager in his first season of car racing, took the novice cross off before this meeting. So he gets 8th place, and 9th and 10th, I think that is, over the line in the shape of Eddie Falkingham.
Despite that off, he didn't lose huge amounts of time to Billy Stiles, did he? But he has got that 10-second penalty, which will drop him behind Nikita Abramov. So Abramov will be classified 9th and Falkingham 10th.
I don't think that's quite enough for Clues to wrap up the championship just yet.
Well, that was by far his worst result of the season as well, though, wasn't it?
Yeah,
6th
so
place.
I don't think he can do it just yet. We'll probably work out all the points later on. I know that Sarah Fraser, the coordinator, will be doing likewise as well, but I think it will go to at least one more race, which will be at the end of this afternoon. Hopefully Jack Tomlin can get back out for that, one of those dramas for him on the formation lap.
Rob Wellham was saying yesterday, because of course he missed Parc Ferme, didn't he? He said he was going to remember to do that today, and I think he has. He
has done, yes. I've just checked out of the window, and well remembered, Rob. You've found your way into Parc Ferme this time. You've found the correct turn, and he will be preparing for his interview with Matt Suckling in just a minute. Matt can see, just looking to see if we're going to get anyone else to chat to as well.
It was an out of position start, by the way, for Falkingham rather than a jump start.
It's usually the terminology that's used to cover a multitude of issues.
Oh, he actually parked up in the place where Jack Tomlin was due to start, so it was a totally out of position
Well,
start.
that was probably the cause of his confusion, the fact that Tomlin wasn't there.
Indeed.
Okay, looks like we're not too far away from being ready to hand down for the interviews. So I think let's go down now to Matt Suckling, and he's got with him Rob Wellham, the winner of our first race of the day here at Snetterton.
Yeah, good morning guys. Welcome to the Park Ferme area down here with our race winner from the F1000, which is Rob Wellham. Rob, we missed you yesterday. You did an extra lap because you were so excited. The season for you this year hasn't been that good, unfortunately, with Silverstone and Oulton Park, but at your home circuit, you've got now 2 victories. Well done.
Yeah, yesterday, no one told us we'd go through there, so I didn't know where I was going, and like the marshals obviously were on the side of the track, like obviously trying to wave me in, and I just put my thumbs up and then carried on. So I went off and like did a lap around the Park Ferme. But yeah, no, like obviously Silverstone didn't go to plan, but we're back now, and yeah, the cars are eat. So no, it's been wicked. Like I can't thank Jedi Racing Cars enough for this, and obviously like it's now working, and yeah, it's nothing better to be at Snet, my own track. So no, it's awesome.
It seems to be working in both conditions as well, because yesterday we had kind of wet to dry. Today we've got pretty much fully wet out there, so the car's just awesome, and coming through the field from 8th place is pretty incredible.
Yeah, well, we've changed engine builders, so now we've gone to RLM Racing, so they're wicked. We got lots of wafts, but yeah, track conditions were weird. Like yesterday or Friday practice, they were fine. But today they felt a bit more greasy, which was odd because these are like brand new tyres. But no, it's awesome in the dry. We struggle a little bit because I've only been here 3 times in my racing career, and Dan was catching me at Rate Knots, and I didn't obviously get an interview yesterday, and I don't think I got my what's it called, the green thing? Yeah, garland.
We'll get you one anyway. That's not a problem. The third and final race we've got to look forward to as well. It's looking good for you. If everything goes your way, it could be a hat-trick this weekend.
Yeah, we hope so, but one race at a time. In that one, I was managing a clutch problem. Every time I put the foot to the floor and then brought my foot back up, the clutch wasn't following, so it was jumping a bit. So going into corners, I was kind of freewheeling, which wasn't ideal. But no, it's awesome. It's going well this weekend, but there's no pressure. We're not in the championship, so.
Good stuff, Rob. Well done. Good luck for race number 3 as well later on.
Thank you very much.
There we go then, Rob Wellham, who is our race winner for the second F1000 race. We'll try and grab a quick word as well, if we can, with Ben Powney, who is first time out in the F1000 Championship. He's got his car coming around here, and hopefully Ben will jump over and have a quick chat to us before he heads off and, of course, gets ready for race number 3 a little bit later on. But great racing as ever from the F1000. They put on a show so far this weekend with race 1 and now race 2. And if we can just grab Ben, if he's just going to show us his attention. Yes, he is. He's going to run over for a very quick chat, and we'll find out how that race was for Ben. Ben, well done. F1000 for the first time for you this weekend. Bit of a change. How'd you find it?
Yeah, mad. You probably can't see the smile that I've got here. It's absolutely beaming. It's didn't really know what to expect this weekend. New car. I've driven a F1000 a couple of times before, but to be honest, I never really pushed it because it was never my car. But this is new car. Didn't really know what to expect. I prayed for a rain last night because quali went well in the rain, but then the race in the dry wasn't so good. So I was a bit nervous, to be honest, because I thought if I've asked for rain and then it rains and then I do really badly, everyone's going to take the Michael, I think. So yeah, no, I was pleased.
They're quick little cars. Is it something you want to do more in the future?
Yeah, definitely. I think anyone who drives one of these would say that I don't think you're going to get a better bang for your buck than the F1000, and thrilling to drive. A little bit scary at times, but I think that's kind of what makes it exciting, really.
Good stuff. What are you hoping for from race 3 later on?
Rain. Literally just rain. As long as it's rain, I'll be happy finishing anyway. I said top 10 for the weekend would be good. Yeah, so we'll see. Fingers crossed for rain, though.
Good stuff, Ben. Good luck for race 3.
Cheers, man. Thanks a lot.
There we go. Ben Powney finishing in second place, and of course we had a quick chat there with our race winner, which is Rob Wellham, 2 out of 2 now in F1000s, and we've got lots to look forward to in race number 3 a little bit later on. But more racing on track from the Race Part 750 Formula, so we'll head back to Ian and Josh.